All right, welcome everyone. This is Ep.5 of David Guillen Podcast. And I want to continue with some of the topics that I promised to talk about, which are soul contracts. And I had some requests to talk about the process of when our soul goes through the being overwhelmed phase, being broken phase, and then the rebuilt phase. And what's unique and that I want to share about how these processes and these phases go about is I want to share them from a Kabbalistic point of view, because I know you're giving me your time. Your time is valuable. These podcasts are usually between 15 and 20 minutes. We all have busy schedules, and I don't want to just share information that you might have heard before, just maybe in a new way. I want to explain to you on a soul level what's happening when we're going through this process. This might have a couple parts to it, so we may not get all the information in a one session, but these are the two topics I want to cover, because it also has a lot to do with the energy of this week. So astrologically, biblically, spiritually, I will always also want to share concepts that are relating to what your soul may experience this week, the types of challenges your soul may go through. So let's first start with the process of being overwhelmed, broken, and rebuilt. And each of us, at any stage of our lives, we are in one of these phases. And the way Kabbalah explains it is that we go through processes in life where we are given the opportunity in the test to transform our negativity, to transform our fears. The Kabbalists call it the desire to receive for the self alone. And practically, how do I know what that is and what area of my life? That is always going to be the area where you are most easily triggered, where you have fear, where you begin to ruminate, where you begin to have a lot of intrusive thoughts, a lot of doubts, because it's indicating a weakness that is attaching itself to your soul. And the only way to correct anything in this physical world and why our soul came to this world is to replicate that scenario so that we have the free will to act like God. When we act like God, and I speak about this in Kabbalah 1, I'll always talk about Kabbalah 1 because that is like the foundational content masterclass that hopefully we've taken. You'll get so much more from all my other content. Talk about in Kabbalah 1 that we came to this world in order to become like the Creator, in order to remove this feeling of shame that our soul experienced receiving all of the Creator's energy for free. And there's hours and hours of content on just how that came about. So our soul is choosing this movie. We are choosing the actors in our movie because these are the perfect actors, the perfect scenarios in order to heal the cellular trauma that we've had since the time of creation. And we chose that because nothing is more powerful and fulfilling than when you choose to do something. You become like God. You literally become like the Creator. And you have this dark period where nothing's going your way and all your help and your support systems and even your own wisdom is kind of leaving you. And all you're left with is your choice to either continue the darkness or become like the Creator. So this is kind of the purpose and phases of life that we see. And each time we have this test of darkness, and we pass the test, which I'll explain more how we do that, you receive, actually, the way it works, the reason why you have miracles is you receive another piece of your soul into the body you have. And Michael Berg shared this once in a seminar many years ago. One of my mentors, my most valuable mentor, I would say, the person who's been by my side for 25 years. He said that, and he was quoting another Kabbalist, that the Creator is not giving the full aspect of our soul right now to be in our body because it's too precious. We would be damaging it with all of our negativity and selfishness. So imagine 1% of your soul is in this body. And you need more parts of your soul in order to experience the miracles in your life. When a person finds their soulmate, it's because they've drawn down higher parts of their soul into their body, hence creating the vessel to draw the soulmate. So it's not luck. It's not the amount of dates you go on. It's only a function of, did you pass enough tests to allow another percent of your soul to enter your body, hence expanding your vessel and capacity to hold this fulfilling energy. In this case, we call this fulfilling energy soulmate. But this also applies to wealth. This also applies to healing of any sort that we're looking for. It's like if I have neck pain or if I have back pain, and we all have pain in our body at some point, the first thought in my mind isn't just how do I solve the pain? That's the second thought. The first thought is, what do I do in order to draw another percent of my soul into my body? Because once I do, the healing will become clear. The healing will become evident. I will be pointed to the right doctor, the right medicine, the right protocol. That will come once I capture a higher part of my soul. So any problem we're feeling or experiencing in our lives, we need to capture this next percent of our soul. And maybe a person leaves this lifetime having only captured 20% of their soul. So their soul reincarnates, and there's a whole reincarnation process. And I'm sure we'll have podcasts about death and what happens to the soul during this process. I mean, there's so much content. There's endless content. But then the soul goes and comes back in order to capture more percentages of that soul. And every test we go through is a unique test we must go through to capture that higher soul. So we shouldn't be blaming other people or blaming our surroundings or blaming our parents or blaming our friends or blaming our boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or spouse. That just wastes time. We want to know how to draw the higher part of our soul. So what happens is when the higher part of the soul wants to come in, it's like a baby that wants to be born. You feel the pressure, right? There's these symptoms, so to speak. There's indications that a woman has when she's about to give birth to a child. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pain. The child wants to be born. The baby wants to be born. Your new soul wants to be born. So what it does is it puts pressure on you. You feel overwhelmed. If you feel overwhelmed right now, it's because a new soul wants to be born. A new baby wants to be born. Well, how do I know what kind of quote unquote baby this is going to be? Is this going to be the baby of finding out what my purpose is in life, baby of new wisdom, baby of prosperity, baby of love? It's often linked to whatever you've been praying for and asking for in the weeks, months, or years prior. Either conscious or unconscious desires and prayers you've been putting out has basically created a gestation period for this baby, and this baby wants to be born, so now you feel pressure. You feel overwhelmed, you feel stressed, you feel annoyed, and you feel like you're not even spiritual. And that's a big thing. You feel you're going backwards. That's a big one. How do you know you're really moving forward? Is you feel you've gone backwards. You feel the old you coming back. One of the biggest indications that you're about to break through the first phase, which is the overwhelmed phase, is that you feel you've gone backwards and you're not spiritual at all. I've had those days. 25 years of studying Kabbalah, being on this path, being surrounded by the most incredible community, teachers, mentors, really means nothing right before I'm going to my next level. I feel I am as selfish or disconnected as I was 25 years ago. But it's all an illusion. That's the test. So never give power or creed to when you feel you've gone backwards. You are never going backwards. It's a total illusion. You are actually never disconnected from the light. There's nothing you could do to disconnect from the light. The only reason we feel darkness is because we think we should be disconnected. That's a very deep concept. But the Creator is never disconnecting from us. We are thinking we should be disconnected through our guilt, through our fear, through our shame. It says about the sin of Adam. The sin of Adam wasn't that he ate from the tree of knowledge, which has a lot of codes and metaphors, by the way. The sin of Adam was that he felt guilty about it afterwards. He felt shame. And that negativity, the negativity of the shame and the guilt, was infinitely more negative than the one bite from the tree of knowledge. So you're feeling these feelings. This is the phase that you're at. What do we do when we feel overwhelmed? The great Kabbalist Rav Berg says, use this mantra. Give me more. Give me more pressure. Give me more pain. I welcome the pain. I welcome the pain. I love the pain. every time I share this wisdom, someone says, well, aren't you manifesting more chaos and negativity? No. What you're basically doing is being the cause and not the effect. When you say, give me more pain, you're basically saying the pain is an illusion. This is all an illusion. I know there's only the light of the Creator. And instead of like fighting the pain and reacting to the pain and hoping the pain goes away and wishing the pain goes away, I lean into it. And the best way to lean into it is say, give me more. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with it because I know it's all light. It's a different consciousness. This consciousness is what transforms the pain instantly. You have a headache, Rob Berg would say, you have a headache, you ask for more headache. You have a pain in your back, pain in your neck, you say, give me more pain. I welcome it. Because I also know that I have to go through this for whatever karmic reason, whatever intelligent reason, spiritually intelligent reason I need to go through this. So I welcome it. Give me more. Let's speed through it. Instead of getting monthly installments of suffering, you know what? Give it to me all right now. And we're afraid to do that because we think we can't handle it. We're afraid to do that because we think it'll be too much for us. You can also say, give me the strength to handle it. You're allowed to pray for anything you want, but pray for the right things to actually build your vessel, not just to pray for pain to go away, because then you're not growing. You're not elevating. You're actually pushing the baby away. You're pushing the soul away. So this is the first phase. How do you know you've successfully graduated from the overwhelmed stage? You feel broken. So the whole point is to be broken. When a woman gives birth naturally, there's a part of her that is breaking and dying. I've noticed it. I've witnessed this in childbirth, myself, being in the room. I've noticed death right before there is life. When my twins were born, I noticed death. I experienced literally Mary Ruth going through death. I think she clinically died, even for a moment, naturally giving birth to twins. And then life was created. And so there's an old part of you that must always die in order for this new soul to come in. And that is perfectly normal. That is perfectly organic. And it means you're on the right path. And many times we're holding on to the old part of ourselves. And that's what's scary. And this is what's causing the time to continue. And what does it mean practically? Because I always want you to give you practical advice. What does it mean practically? I'm holding on to the old me. Whenever you're thinking like the old you, talking like the old you, acting like the old you, eating like the old you, sleeping like the old you, exercising like the old you, hanging out with people the way the old you would do it, that means you're holding on to the old you. It's always in your actions. You can't say you're different or want to be different if you're doing the old actions. So try your best to be the new you in all the little ways. For example, I always say, go for the green light wins, the easy wins. Sleep on time. Go to bed on time. See what that does to your whole life. Eat better. See what that does to your whole life. Avoid spending time with people who drain you. Even just one person. Just write down the name of one person who drains you. And instead of spending 2 hours a week with them, spend 5 minutes, right? You don't have to do anything cold turkey. Just do it differently. Assess and measure your energy and your miracles just by testing it out. This is what I loved about Kabbalah. First Kabbalah class I went to when I was 15 years old, they said, look, you don't have to believe us that this works. Just go try it. And I said, well, what's wrong with trying it? Everything that you feel could work, just try it. Because if it works, you know it works. And if it doesn't work, then you still have certainty it doesn't work. But why have a doubt? Why have a doubt about anything in life? Just try it. Try this, try that, touch the stove, see that it's hot, then you have certainty that it's hot. Why do we got to listen to other people telling us that it's hot? Sometimes it's good to learn from other people's lessons, and sometimes you should learn your own lesson. But the point is, don't wait in the middle. So this is the second phase of being broken. There's nothing wrong with being broken. However, being broken is so powerful. It's so connected to the light. actually, when you're broken, because your ego is shattered and all that's left is your soul that's totally connected to the light of the Creator. You become like God. When you're broken, you become like God. And as a result, the negative forces come and attack at this moment the strongest. When you're broken, it's a very thin margin between being so connected to the world of miracles or connected to the world of sadness. People get sad, despondent, and depressed and lethargic. They lose energy, they lose steam, they lose hope when they're broken. And so this is the phase that we have to be so careful. We have to be broken but happy. Broken but happy. Like going to the gym. How do you know you had a successful workout? You broke the muscle. If you just warmed up the muscle, this is not a successful workout. If you massage the muscle, this is definitely not a successful workout. If you just complimented your muscles and rubbed creams and lotions on them, you've done nothing. In fact, you've weakened your muscle. But you go to the gym to break the muscle to the point you can't even move your arms or your legs. You can barely move. This was a successful workout. Totally broken. You're not sad about it. In fact, you're very happy because you know in 2 days you will have double the strength, double the aesthetic, double the health. So you're happy about being broken. You know that the body works this way, but did you know that the soul works this way as well? Did you know that every time your body is broken, even when you break a bone, it grows back stronger? So when you break a muscle, you know you have a better muscles. The soul works the same way. You break the soul, you have a better soul in 2 days. But you got to spiritually eat right, which means you have to be happy. And you have to know what's happening. The third phase is the being rebuilt. And as we're coming up to time, I'm also realizing that this is probably a 2-part lesson, and I'll continue this in the next episode. Being rebuilt, how do you know you've entered this phase? You can look back and look at the old you and feel that that's not you anymore. That's how you know you've grown. That's how you know you've gotten a new soul. You can look back and say, I can't even believe I was that person. In this phase, there's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of miracles. And by the way, one of the biggest rewards we get from going through this is divine inspiration and wisdom. Like the Creator begins to speak to you and channel through you. This is more valuable than all the other things that we're looking for in the physical world. Because when you have divine inspiration and your consciousness is connected to the Creator's consciousness, you receive the GPS of how to receive everything in life, as opposed to just love or just prosperity or just healing. Divine inspiration and divine wisdom and the Creator's mind coming into your mind is the most valuable reward that comes in the rebuilt phase. And I'll talk next week about more about how it works on a soul level, these 3 phases, and what does it mean to be rebuilt? What should we be doing at the rebuilt phase in order to prepare ourselves for the next 3 phases that are going to come again? And those who have the biggest desire, the bigger your desire, the more intense your process will be. And that's okay. That's a testament to how great of a soul you are.